Scorn is a waste of fucking time. What a dumb fucking game. Scorn was probably the worst game I've ever played.
So it's been brought to my attention that a good number of people really didn't take a liking to Scorn, and there is a possibility that you clicked on this video because you shared that same feeling. And I do understand it. When you hype a game with a demo and takes 7 years to finish it, people are naturally going to expect a longer game than 4 to 7 hours, and just maybe have a little bit more storytelling than the almost non-existent amount the game itself gives us. While I'm not going to try to change your mind, I hope this video will give you a chance to look at it at a different angle. And I can already hear you typing, "Game's trash, terrible game, no lore. You sound like Chris Griffin." Just let me explain. And I don't sound like Chris Griffin. Scorn puts you in a world inspired by the creativity of H.R. Geiger, and I would argue it nailed it. The world's design is uncomfortable but interesting enough to raise curiosity on how things work and how it got to be what it is today. The monsters, while some look almost helpless and confused, were dangerous and aggressive when not left alone. Every weapon almost seemed alive, and I thought the concept of having the same trigger mechanism with interchangeable upper receivers being different weapon types was super creative. You even had a really cool story arc twist where the first character you play dies and comes back as a parasite to stop you, playing as a completely new character. And you could almost tell how much time had passed between the two events when you go to old locations and see how deteriorated it had gotten. My point is, so much thought went into this world, and I can tell the dev studio had a really good thing going for a while. I mean, when it says it's designed around the idea of being thrown into the world isolated and lost, it's not lying. However, I can only defend the game so much, and it doesn't get any easier when you look at the Steam gameplay features and see things like open-ended world. All the storytelling happens in-game with no cutscene. Players will have to think about when to fight and when to take cover. Like, what? You can't even crouch. How am I gonna take cover? But that's why when I see those comments, I don't say much to defend it. I think the dev team knew the game wasn't finished, and I guarantee there was so much more they wanted to implement. But at the end of the day, we have what we have, and I honestly enjoyed it. I got lost in the world, figuratively and literally. The combat wasn't great, but I wasn't looking for that. I wanted to be immersed in a twisted world centered around survival, unique puzzle solving, and I do enjoy me some unique looking monsters. I can honestly say I got that satisfaction. Now, I didn't pay for the game, and I would encourage playing it on Xbox Game Pass or wait for it to go on sale, but if you do get a chance to play it and what I said was interesting to you, I would honestly recommend trying this game. The Steam reviews are mostly positive, and I think that's a fair rating. It's not going to be up for any Game of the Year awards, and there really isn't much for replayability, but it's an experience worth going through if you get a chance. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this spoke to some of you more on the fence about Scorn. As for the rest of you saying this game is shit and I sound like Chris Griffin,
wanna ride the Stewie go round? Ah! Make it stop!